So this is Prasanna Kumar, your IT faculty. Today I am going to tell you about Unit 2 Web Applications, that is Session 1, Working with Accessibility Options. So what accessibility options means? So computer accessibility. Computer accessibility refers to the user friendliness of a computer system for all. How we deal with computer is nothing but computer accessibility. Regardless of disabilities or whatever it is, that is accessibility. How you can access a computer is computer accessibility. In this unit, in this session we are going to learn about the accessibility options, how we can work with accessibility options. We have different types of people, we can say many impairments, disabilities, many things are there. So how other people can access the computer, this topic deals with that main concept. In this we can see here in this PPT, it enables, however, when a combination of hardware and software, it enables a person with a disability or impairment to use a computer. It is known as assistive technology. In 2020 board examinations, we got this bit, assistive technology. What is assistive technology? It is nothing but with the help of hardware and software, disabled or disability or impairment people use computer. The technology is called as assistive technology. In recent 2020 board examination, we got this fill in the blank. In this session you will know the basic accessibility option available in your computer. So in these types of impairments, what are the different types of impairments we are seeing day to day life? There are numerous, as we are seeing here. Let me share these impairments. The different types of impairments we are seeing here are cognitive impairments and learning disabilities. The second one is visual impairment. Third one is hearing impairment. Fourth one is motor or dexterity impairment. Let me share I'll share the meaning of these different types of impairments that we see. First one, what is a cognitive impairment? Cognitive impairment is nothing but a person having trouble in remembering. In our day-to-day life, you all may see a few people who cannot remember what they do, or they cannot remember. That is the main problem, that is cognitive impairment. Due to this trouble in remembering, they have different types of effects, saying that they cannot learn something, they cannot memorize something, and they have some problems. So that is cognitive impairments and learning disabilities. They cannot solve any problems. These are the defects they are having, who are called cognitive impairments. Mainly I said that remembering problem, trouble in remembering. And the second one is visual impairment. Visual impairment means they cannot their vision is not good. Some vision will be partially okay, some vision they cannot completely see, which is called as blindness. Other one is hearing impairment. In the sense, hearing impairment in the sense, they cannot hear properly. They can see, their vision is good, but they are deaf. They cannot listen properly, or they cannot listen properly or completely. That is nothing but hearing impairment. The fourth one is a motor or dexterity impairment. A motor or dexterity impairment, it refers to the physical disability. Physical disability means they're having some weaknesses like muscle weaknesses or lack of muscle control, paralysis. They are physically not fit, like few people limbs, their limbs don't work. They used to sit in the wheelchair for the remaining life. They all comes under motor or dexterity impairment. Partially or total loss of functioning of their body parts. These are the 4 types of impairments we are having. So recently central government has announced a separate word for them called Divyang. In Telugu we call it as Divyangulu. So government has restricted the word handicapped. So we have to call someone who is of impairment. Out of these 4, if you see someone, you must not call handicapped or something. You must call Divyang or Divyangulu. Okay, right. The next one is how to launch these accessibility options. As the CBSE textbook preferred 402 code information technology, in the textbook we are having about Windows XP. As per the textbook, I am going and the Windows XP to access or to open accessibility options. Click on the start button. In start button, type control panel in the search bar, and in control panel you will find an option called accessibility options. In accessibility option in control panel are used to customize the way your keyboard, display or mouse functions. Many of these features are useful for people with disabilities as discussed earlier. Just look into here on this diagram figure. Accessibility options. After going to the path in control panel, you will find this one. Here you can find, see, I'll show you. You can find keyboard here. Just look into my cursor. You can find keyboard, through sound tab, through display tab, through mouse tab, and through general tab. These are the different tabs through which we are going to access these options. Let us now discuss about keyboard options. See, keyboard tab. In keyboard tab, we are having sticky keys. What is that? Sticky keys. What sticky keys does and what are its functionalities? How it help? Let me share you about it. Sticky keys. Sticky keys allows the user to press and release a modifier key such as Shift, Control, Alt or the window key, and have it remain active until other key is pressed. Yes, we generally use for copying, paste, and selection, and we use different sticky keys in our day-to-day life. Say that I have to select text in a document. What we does is we will press Control A. What does the control do? We hold control button and we will touch the letter A. In this scenario, through keyboard, the impairment cannot do 2 at a time. So in this scenario, we can use key keys. What is that? Sticky keys. So if you go to the path and click on accessibility options as shown before, see in the keyboard tab you can find the first option is sticky keys. In that sticky keys you can check use sticky keys. If you check or tick it as a sticky keys, immediately you will get an option in the tray, system tray showing like this. Just look on to my cursor. This is the sticky key symbol. It will be at your system tray at the bottom. So what one can do is that take your notepad. In notepad, type some text. After typing some text, just go to the first part of your text, like first row or the first letter of your text. Just you press Control key. Don't hold it, just press Control key and click on A. What happens, it selects all the data. So that is the use of sticky keys. You cannot press or hold for if we does some functionality. What does we do? The same functionality, we'll press or hold the control and we will type A. So without holding, we'll just press and we'll click on A and the data will be selected. With the help of sticky key, no need to hold the letters but just press, then it will take the functionality. The second one is keyboard tab. In keyboard tab, the second one is filter keys. Filter key is a feature of Microsoft Windows. It is an accessibility function that tells the keyboard to ignore brief or repeated keystrokes, making typing easier for people with hand tremors. So this is then another feature in keyboard tab, that is filter keys. What does it do? It ignores the repeated keystrokes. If someone are having some problem in their hands while typing, they will type, or unfortunately if they type once, the letters will be, will get the same letter twice or thrice. So to ignore that problem, we can enable filter keys option. Through that filter key option, what does it do? It ignores repeated keystrokes. For this, you can find an example, or you can have it on your notepad. Open your notepad and type some 3 to 4 lines. In that, while typing, if you find something, the word which is repeated, the filter key will just ignore repeated characters. That is the second one, filter keys in keyboard tab. The third one in keyboard tab is toggle keys. What is that? Toggle keys. Toggle keys is also a feature of Microsoft Windows. It is an accessibility function which is designed for people who have vision impairment or cognitive disabilities. When toggle keys is turned on, computer emits sound cues when the locking keys, caps lock, numeric lock, or scroll lock are pressed. A high sound is emitted when the keys are switched on, and a low sound is emitted when they are switched off. The toggle keys, someone having vision impairment. So someone they're having some visually they cannot see, and they are having partial blindness. They can implement through toggle keys. While pressing caps lock or number lock or scroll lock buttons, will get a beep sound. So hearing that sound, they can identify that the switches or like the buttons are on or off. When they are on, we'll get bit high sound. When they are off, they'll get low sound. So that is the use of toggle keys. Okay, for caps lock, numeric lock, scroll lock, these three are called toggle keys. Coming to the second tab, the second tab is nothing but sound tab. What is that? Sound tab. In sound tab, we are having two options. The first one is sound sentry, second one is show sounds. Sound sentry. In sound sentry is designed to help users with auditory impairments. Sound sentry generates visual warnings such as blinking title bar or a flashing border whenever the computer generates a sound. So for sound sentry, who wants a sound sentry means those who are having auditory impairments, those who cannot hear, those who are having this hearing impairment, so they can use this sound sentry. When they enable the button, we are having the path here in the accessibility options tab. Click on sound tab. Under sound tab, we are having sound sentry option. If you click or enable that button, this will comes into use. Say that when you're typing something, take your notepad and type something. When a repeated information is typed or some errors occur, what does it do means it shows the visual warnings. In the sense, visual warning in the sense blinking or flashing. So those are the two things, blinking or flashing. It shows that visual warnings. And the second one is show sounds. What is that? Show sounds. So that is something related to sound sentry only. Show sounds instructs apps that convey information by sound to also provide information visually through text captions or informative icons. That's it. It is similar to the visual warnings. Like here in Sound Center we see a blinking title bar or a flashing board. Here in Show Sounds we find some text captions or informative icons. That is related to Sound tab. And the third one is Display tab. You can find the figure here in the right side. That is Display tab, the third one. Display tab are having two options, that is high contrast, and the second one is cursor option. High contrast, display tab is for the same partial blindness, or we can say visually challenged people. So using this display tab, what we can do is that we can increase we can change or increase size, color, font for best viewing purpose for the vision impairment people. And in the same way, the second one is that cursor options. Cursor options, as we are dealing with vision impairments, the first one is high contrast, and the second one is cursor option. In cursor option we can change different types of cursors. We can change the size of the cursors and the shape of the cursors, and not only shapes, and some blinking cursors will be there that can be easily identified. Through cursors options we can change the different types of colors or the shapes of the cursors based on the user interest. So that is display tab. And the fourth one is mouse tab. In mouse tab we are having mouse keys. Mouse keys, it is related to mouse keys is an accessibility feature that assists people who have difficulty using a mouse. This option uses the keyboard, especially in numeric keypad, as a pointing device instead of a mouse. So those are people who are not interested in using mouse, or those who have difficulty in using the mouse, they can use a numeric keypad. A numeric keypad, we can use 4 for moving to the left side, 6 for the right side, 8 top or the top, and 2 for the bottom. So this is nothing but mouse tab, or we can say these are all called mouse keys. Using keypad in your computer, in your keyboard as a mouse. As I said, that 4, 6, 8, 2 as your mouse scrolling buttons, left, right, top, bottom. So that is the use of enabling mouse keys in mouse tab. So this is you can find the icon here that icon is at the bottom or at the system tray. When you enable, this is the icon. So let us move to the final one, that is general tab. So the final one is general tab. In general tab we are having options like automatic reset, notification, serial key devices. General tab, this tab enables you to configure accessibility options for all users, not for particular one person or two persons. Serial keys is an accessibility feature that assists people that have difficulty using a keyboard or a mouse. Serial key option can be enabled for the people who are having difficulty in using keyboard or mouse or both. They can use special device such as SIP, puff and bridge switches to provide input to the computer through serial ports. So they use separate devices, as you can see in this figure. They use separate devices to give input to the system. You can find those few devices on the screen in the figure. Serial keys, for example, sipping on the tube activates one device, while puffing on the same tube activates another. I'll tell you an example. The great scientist and philosopher Stephen Hawking. Take him an example. While he was in an interview or in media speaking, I found him speaking to media on a wheelchair. He was an impairment. He is not able to move his leg or anything. He's just sitting on a wheelchair. See, he is just we can say sipping or puffing, and he is able to speak to us through few devices. So we can compare this one to the Stephen Hawking, the great scientist. That is nothing but serial keys. You can find a few online videos in YouTube about Stephen Hawking related to how he is communicating, how he has communicated. Serial keys means, as it is said here, sipping on the tube activates one device, and while puffing on the same tube activates another. So these are all the accessibility options or tabs we are having. Like I said about keyboard tab, sound tab, display tab, mouse tab, and finally this general tab. So this is the end of your first session, accessibility, working with accessibility options. Meet you in the second session, networking fundamentals. Thank you for watching.